Welcome to Growth Minded Conversations. We're your hosts, Amy Dieselkamp and Paula Grimes from Growth Minded Talent Solutions, where we talk about the real leadership and hiring decisions behind building a growing business. Welcome back to Growth Minded Conversations. I'm your host, Amy, and I'm here with one of my business partners, Paula Grimes. How are you doing this morning, Paula?
I am doing great. What are we
Okay.
talking about today, Amy?
We are talking about the universal principle that guides every single person's life, and that's time, and where we waste it and where we can capitalize on it, and what makes a difference in people's lives when they learn the power of focusing on the right things at the right time. I want to talk to you about this today because I think you're really good at having a very clear idea of how best to use your time, and you can speak to this at a really high level for our audience. So tell me a little bit about how you think about time as a business owner.
It starts with prioritization, right? So there's two skills here. One is time management, and some people are really good at it, right? They know every minute of every day. They manage that time really well. And there's other people who float through time, right? They lose track of it. There's no right or wrong around either one. It's just we operate differently in the world, and there's everything in between that. And when we talk about time management and using our time really well, to me, it starts with prioritization. Like, what is the most important thing for me to focus on in this moment in time? And sometimes it's our family, right? Sometimes if that phone is ringing and it is like the most important thing for me to focus on right in this moment is my family. And if we go to the workday, we have so many things happening in our workday. There's 100 things we could do today. And it's like, how do we decide what to do in the moment?
It's so true. And it's so daunting at times when it feels like every day my list just gets a little longer and I can be pulled in a lot of different directions. And if I don't manage my time, or if I don't have a clear idea on what my priorities are, I feel like my time is at the whims of everybody else in my world. Whoever's calling me first thing in the morning or whoever has sent the most recent email, I ping pong back and forth through a lot of different things in my day if I don't have a grasp on prioritization.
Yes. It helps us figure out what to say yes to and what to say no to,
Oh, yeah.
right?
Yeah.
We all struggled with that on some level too, some of us more than others. But when we constantly have more things being piled in, if we don't know what our priority is and we start saying yes to those things, we actually may not be doing something that is super, super important.
Right.
So it helps us manage even what we say, I can't do that today, or I don't have the time to do that, or I don't even have the capacity to do that.
Yep.
And what I can agree to, oh, yes, I can accomplish this for you, or this is really important. I will put this at the head of everything, right?
So, how do you keep the squeaky wheels from being the controllers of your priorities and stay focused on the right things in the right moments or in the right order? What guide creation?
I ask people that a lot because I really am curious around how different people think through all the things they have to do and how they prioritize. And I get lots of different answers. So as I share with you what works for me, that doesn't mean this is the right way. It's just how do I do it? To me, it is what is going to have the biggest impact, meaning if what one thing when I look at my day is going to have the biggest impact. If I'm an agent, often that is what is my highest dollar producing thing that I'm going to do that's going to impact my business the most. That is the most important thing. And that is why we talk about lead generation being the most important thing, because without business, we don't have a business. It
Mhm.
is the most important thing, and yet it's the first thing that most people don't prioritize. It's the one thing that's going to make the biggest difference in our business. Are there lots of other things that feel like priorities? 100%. But it's like I look at what is going to have the biggest impact first. And that's the thing I want to tackle first because that's not going to take me all day, right? Whatever that is going to take me a period of time. And then I say, how long is this going to take me? This will take me an hour. Okay, I am dedicating an hour and I'm not letting any noise come in that hour because this is really, really important for me to get done. And I've set up different things over the years to help me with that. When I was sharing an office with a whole bunch of people, right? We're all in one space. I don't have a door to close. So, how do I communicate with people that this is not a good time to interrupt me because I need to be focused on something right now? So, I had a light on my desk. And when that light was on, it meant, hey, don't interrupt her, right? She's in the middle of something. And when the light was off, it meant, hey, if you have a question, if you have a need, I'm available for you, right? So, I found something that would help me keep the distraction down. And part of it's choice. I chose not to answer my phone during that hour. I chose not to look at my email during that hour, right? The other thing is, I can't keep email out for too long. I can't keep phone calls out for too long. So if that thing was going to take me 3 hours to do, I would do it in chunks because I can't totally disconnect from the world for 3 hours.
Yeah.
There may be something really urgent that comes up in a 3 hour time span. So then it's like, how do I set up my time that I can do it in chunks? So I have an hour, take a 15-minute break, check up on email, see if there's anything urgent, right? Then jump back in, do another hour. So there's, again, it all comes back to time management.
When you think about, and you brought up something really, I think, important in the very beginning here about if you're an agent, your most important thing is lead generation, lead follow up, right? Converting potential business into actual business is the most important thing an agent can do, or anyone in sales. If your role is sales, that's your number one thing. And I think that harkens back to when you are creating job descriptions for people on your team or for new team members, you can't give a job description or a role on the team, really can't wear a ton of hats because if you have multiple top one priority things, you lose the ability to truly say, hey, this is the thing that I know if I accomplish this today, whatever else happens, that can all be done tomorrow. But as long as this is happening, I have served my purpose. I have served my role for the day and allows people to know that they're winning. So when it comes to a business owner, as opposed to someone who is just doing sales in the business, what are other things that might be priorities besides converting potential business into actual business?
So you're having me change my perspective from agent to owner. Is that what you're asking me to do? As figuring out what my top priority is?
Yeah.
So my top priority may be then as a business owner, making sure that everybody in my business knows their priorities for the day and we're on the same page and we're all moving in the same direction, right? It might be a 15-minute meeting with my team in the morning to make sure we're all in alignment, we all know what the priorities are, and we're all moving forward together.
It sounds so easy, but it's one of the first things I feel like that when teams get busy and you've got a lot of things on your plate, it's one of the first things that fall off your calendar because you're like, it's just 15 minutes. We've been doing this for forever. People know what's expected of them. I can just let this go and they're going to be able to do it.
And I think the hard thing is because you think it's a 15-minute meeting, it's not a big deal. I think part of the reason it gets dropped too is not because it's 15 minutes and it's not needed. Time needs to be put into thought about leading that meeting, right? And if my brain is jumbled because I am going so fast, and I have a million things floating around in my head, it's hard for me to put one more thing in and organize a meeting in my head of like, we have 15 minutes this morning and this is what I need to go through, right? Stop doing the heavy lifting. Designate somebody on your team to come to that meeting with an agenda and be really clear with them what you want that agenda to look like. So they have some guidance on how to put the agenda together, but let somebody else run the meeting for you. So you're just showing up and listening. Are we on the same page? Are we all on target with the right priorities? Or do I have some things in my head that they don't even realize are happening? And I didn't realize that I had them in my head and hadn't communicated them. That is part of what comes up in those meetings. But don't lead the meeting. Let somebody else lead the meeting with your guidance on how you want the meeting led. But you're present, you're listening, you're contributing, and in the end, you're making sure everybody has the information they need to do their jobs and we're all moving forward in the same direction.
It reminds me of principle around meetings that I heard a few years ago. And I think it's such an important piece where meetings are made up of two different things, really. It's discussion and then decisions. So let the discussion happen around you, hear what other people are sharing about what their day looks like, what they've accomplished so far, how they're setting their priorities. And then at the end of the meeting, right now we've got to shift from explanation and discussion into final decisions, wrap up, and making sure everybody knows what we have set intentionally for the rest of the day or for the team moving forward. So there are two pieces there that I think go into making a really effective meeting and keeping it on time, right? We can only talk about things for so long. Now we've got to make decisions, break, and get started with our day.
Yes, that's the other thing. This isn't a chit chat meeting. This is a business meeting and it should be short. It should have an agenda and it should be with everybody leaving with clarity on what the priorities are for the day. And if anything's changed, everybody may show up and what they thought was a priority is the priority and we're all good.
Yep.
However, something may have happened, right? And then as you come together, you may realize, oh, Sally was going to work on this today. And this happened yesterday, and I need her top priority today to be this. And she doesn't realize this happened yesterday. So it's my chance to share with her, this happened yesterday. I need this to be your top priority. Once you're done with that, you're good.
Yeah, exactly. You mentioned before, people operate through time differently. You talked about the fact that some people are really good. Like they go into a 15-minute meeting and they can feel the seconds ticking down. And at 14 minutes and 30 seconds, they're like, we got to wrap this up because I know I've got something else to do 30 seconds from now and we've got to be ready to go. Other people float in. They want to chit chat, they want to share, they stay in the moment with the group. So they build connection and rapport. So both are needed, right? To get through life, essentially. But why do we look at time differently? Like, do you know why people relate with time so differently from each other?
We actually view time very differently. I naturally would float through time. When I go on vacation, I will float through the day. However, it has been so drilled into me from my childhood on to be cognizant of time that I'm very, very aware of time. I mean, I had a parent who was, if you're not early, you're late, right? And that was so drilled into me that I get anxious if I'm not early for something. I really get anxious if I'm going to be late for something, but because of that, it's caused me to be really in tune with time. And this is what I'm going to say. If you're a person who floats through time, one, you can get better at it. And do you have to? Not necessarily. You have people in your world who are probably really good at time management. Hand the time management over to them, right? If you're one of those people who kind of floats through time and you have somebody on your team who's really good at it, make them in charge of the meeting. You just need to get yourself there on time, but give them permission to keep the meeting on track and move through the meeting.
That's
And
great.
at the end of the meeting, if it's I want time to chit chat, Like the people who need the time, they don't have the time to do that, can leave, right? And the people who have the time for that can stay. So, as I say, this is a business meeting, not a chit chat meeting. It doesn't mean that you can't do that. It's just structure it so it's efficient and everybody can get what they need to do their jobs, especially if everybody's super busy. And it doesn't mean don't have space for that.
When we're able to focus on our one things, right? We've got our priorities straight. We are on the same page with our team. We start our day with clear focus. What does that do to our business over time?
Oh, it's amazing how fast that moves you forward. When you can create that consistency, right? When you can all be focused on the same thing, you're not getting sidetracked along the way. Like Amy had said earlier, right? You go 30 days without really having these check-ins, and then all of a sudden you realize you're on different pages. Well, now you have to do this big loop to get back on track. And in reality, you just lost 30 days. You truly
Yeah.
did. So do you want to possibly lose 30 days or more? Because I've seen it be more.
Yeah.
I've seen it be to the point where somebody is let go because they are on such a different page when they were doing what they thought was right. They thought they were on the right page.
Yeah.
We didn't have enough check-ins to realize they weren't. And then there's so much frustration at that point that it's like, we're done. Do you want to lose a good person that way?
Yeah. It can break rapport, right? It's not just about the fact that you might lose business, revenue, momentum towards your goals. You could actually break rapport with your team members and lose the relationship, the
Yeah.
ability to keep them there.
And lose talented people on your team. Like
Yeah.
this all comes back to a leadership thing, right? When we talk about leaders, it doesn't necessarily mean you need to change who you are. Like I have people who aren't organized people. They're naturally not organized. And they're like, I need to be more organized to be successful. And my question is always, do you? If you have organized people in your life that help you be organized and you really excel at these things over here, why not focus on these things that you really excel at and allow somebody who has that skill set be that for you?
I love that. And I think that's a great takeaway for this call. It's not about being able to do all the things at a high level all the time. It's knowing what your strengths are and knowing what the strengths of your other team members are and leaning into them to be able to accomplish the goal and stay on track and stay focused on the right priorities in the right order.
Yes, 100%.
All right, wonderful. Anything else you'd like to share around time management this morning?
It is a skill.
Yeah.
It is a skill. Even for those of us who have it ingrained in us, I've still had a journey on time management. So it is definitely a skill that needs to be developed, no matter how naturally you step into it.
I agree with that. And I think another piece is when people hear time management and hear that it needs to be a skill, I think they get in their head about if I'm going to work on my time management skill, that means I've got to account for every minute of every single day. When we're talking about priorities and knowing what's going to move the needle forward for you in your day, it could be something that only takes 20 minutes. But if it's the first thing you get done in the day, the rest of your day flows so much better because you've done that 20-minute thing that moved the needle forward for the larger goal, the bigger picture, the business growth. And it's just being really, really clear on what those things are. So it's not about, hey, I've got to fill my calendar with every single minute of productive activity. A lot of times our productive activity maybe only takes up 20 to 40% of our day. The rest is your repeatable behind the scenes tasks and actions that just keep the business moving forward. But it's that 20% of your day that moves the needle, that moves the business. So I think also not getting in your head about trying to be perfect for 24/7. It's where can I focus for a short amount of time and make the biggest impact on my business?
Which as you're talking, Amy, brings me to the thought of often the most important thing we do in our business that doesn't take us much time, right? And the reason we don't do it is because it's not something we enjoy doing.
Yeah, it always is. Yeah.
Yeah. I may not enjoy taking the time to have this strategy meeting every morning. I may not enjoy lead generation. I may not enjoy whatever it is that I know is the most important thing of the day. And yet, what a relief it is to get it done, get it out of the way, continue with the day. And how much easier does it become over time if we just repetitively do it and it just becomes rote for us?
There, exactly. Okay, great. Well, I hope everyone enjoyed today's talk around time management, prioritization. If this is something you are looking to improve or build in your own business and would like some help around how that might be more effective in your world, feel free to go to Growth Minded Talent and growthmindedtraining.com, where we've got some resources and some tools to help you with building that out in your own lives. All right. We'll see you next time, Paula.
See you next time. All right, growth minded leaders, that's a wrap on today's episode. We hope this sparked some fresh ideas and fueled your drive to build, lead, and grow with purpose. And if something we shared helped shift your perspective, we'd love for you to leave a review. It helps us reach more business builders just like you. Better yet, share this with someone on your team or in your inner circle who's ready to level up their leadership game. Until next time, keep leading boldly, hiring wisely, and training with intention. You're not just building a business, you're shaping a legacy.